this episode of Brolletts Pod, we are talking with Scott Peck from Friday Pickleball. Friday Pickleball is one of the leading content creators in the pickleball space, and we wanted to talk to them to learn how they created their videos, how they partnered with the Pickleball Paddle Company, and their secret to creating an audience and going viral. Let's jump into this episode of the Brolletts Pod.
Before we jump into today's episode, I want to tell you all about Arte Shades, the sponsor of this podcast. This is the brand that I started with Colt a year ago to help young athletes to block out distractions and be the best version of themselves, pitch by pitch, play by play, game by game. And today, we're giving away a free pair of Arte Shades for one of you who is listening to this episode. We give away a free pair of sunglasses every single episode here on Arte Shades, and all you have to do is leave a comment below with this week's code word. And this week's code word is pickle, because we're talking with Scott Peck from Friday Pickleball. So it's all about the pickle. Leave the most original, unique, coolest comment below using the code word pickle. And we're going to hook you up with these guys, the Florida Fire, the blue, the orange mirror lenses. They're super cool. We're going to hook someone up with a free pair of the Florida Fire just for leave a comment with the code word pickle. And if you don't win right now, you can head over to arteshades.com and you can actually get two pairs for just $49, guys. That is a heck of a good deal. You get two pairs for less than what most companies charge for one pair. Super cool. Mix and match styles, adults, kids, all of that good stuff. arteshades.com. Now, let's jump into today's episode with Scott Peck.
Scott, man, thank you so much for taking some time out and being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, to start things off, how did you three come together and create Friday Pickleball?
Yeah, so winter of 2019, one of my oldest friends, I've known him since kindergarten, since the chocolate milk line in kindergarten. He invited me to be a sub on their rec basketball team. Said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I met Jake and Isaac on the basketball court. And then like 2 or 3 months later, COVID hit. And then we all discovered pickleball. And we kind of formed our friendship on the pickleball court, honestly. We played together a ton. And then that led us into hanging out off the court, watching Chiefs games, playing other sports, playing golf and everything. And then a couple years down the road, we kind of got together and we're like, hey, we should fill this void in the pickleball world and make some funny pickleball videos because nobody else is doing it. And so we got together, we sat down at dinner and ran through like, what are we going to name this? What are our first videos going to be? All that stuff. And then, yeah, I guess summer of 2023, we put out our first video and then it's kind of just taken off since then.
Love that.
Tell us the story about what Friday Pickleball is all about.
Yeah, so we felt like there was a void in the pickleball. I mean, we knew that pickleball was taking off. It was going crazy, super popular 2020, 2021, and even still now. But when you would peruse YouTube or Instagram, it was really just people giving instructional tips or it was gameplay. And we saw content creators in other industries and sports, creating entertaining and engaging content, doing challenges and getting, different people on their channels and doing fun stuff. And we thought, nobody's doing this for pickleball. We can do this for pickleball. And so our first thought was we're just going to make funny, short, relatable pickleball comedy videos, which is something super specific, but honestly, nobody else was doing it. And so when we started releasing our videos in 2023, it just kind of struck a chord with people and people enjoyed it. And then last year, I think February or March was when we started investing more into YouTube and doing some more long form videos. And that's where we like to do, challenges where we're playing, 5-0s versus 4-0s with wooden paddles or, doing a bunch of goofy stuff like playing pickleball in inflatable suits, things like that, just trying to bring as much variety as we can. And we've got some pros on the channel. And so we're really just trying to, one of my favorite things that people will say is they love watching us on their lunch breaks. Like, I think that's so fun. Like, people are trying to check out from a work day or whatever and just plug in and enjoy themselves watching our videos. So I think ultimately our goal, with our short form is to make people laugh. And then our long form is just provide entertaining content, pickleball content for people to watch.
I love that. So how do you guys, or how do you think about the separation between Friday Pickleball, the content or media company, and then obviously like the paddle side, right? There's a commerce piece to it as well. How do you think about those two? And do you see them as separate businesses within kind of the big umbrella, or do you think that they all play together?
They definitely play together. The story of how we came to be is honestly a wild coincidence, because we launched our content channel in May-ish 2023. And unbeknownst to us, these guys, we'd never met them before. They also launched a paddle company called Friday Pickle. So we both launched in the same week with the same name, and we didn't know about each other. And so like 4 months down the road, the owner of the paddle company reached out to us and was like, hey, would you guys want to talk and form some sort of partnership, kind of be the face of our brand, use our paddles in all your videos? And oddly enough, at the time, we were like almost pen to paper signing a deal with Selker to use their paddles in all of our videos.
Wow.
And so we told them no, which is like, I mean, that's like telling, Callaway Golf no, or telling, TaylorMade no if I'm a golf content creator. But we just felt like what they were doing with their paddles, making affordable paddles with fun designs, just fit our brand a lot better, because we're trying to make pickleball fun and accessible to people. And so ever since then, we've really kind of walked step by step with the paddle side. So there's a couple guys that founded the paddle company, and immediately, it's like, okay, we're going to start using these paddles in our videos. We're going to tell people about our paddles. And then one of the things that the guys on the business side are really savvy with is digital advertising. So if you're scrolling through Instagram, you've probably seen my face. Like,
yep.
I have family and friends that are like, I see you 20 times a day.
Everywhere.
How much are you guys spending on advertising? And so that's been a big part of our integration is creating those ads, hooking people, trying to get them to buy the paddles. And I just think it has been a great partnership, because like I said, it fits our audience and what we're trying to do, making pickleball fun, making it accessible. And the paddles are fun designs. They're priced very competitively, and they're really high quality. So it's giving people something that, when you have brands selling paddles for $280 now, that's not accessible,
right?
Especially if you need a new one in 6 months or a year. And so I'd say we have a group chat. We're talking every day about stuff, whether it's business related, whether it's content related. We very much walk hand in hand, both sides of the business.
I love that. So they're actually like separate entities though? It sounds like you guys have the media company, and then have you guys like acquired them at all, or are they two separate businesses? And then how involved are you guys in anything from the design to manufacturing, any of that? Or are you guys just like, no, you guys just keep making awesome paddles, we'll just keep making awesome media? Like, how does that kind of come together?
Yeah, so me, Jake, and Isaac, we have an LLC, and then we have part ownership in the paddle business. So that's how we're kind of intertwined business wise. And then everything, it's a very collaborative approach. So like, I just got a text from one of the guys on the business side with a new design that we're coming out with here in a month or two. And so generally we'll be very collaborative, like judging designs and saying, oh, we like this, we don't like that. And then what I've been very heavily involved with the last few months is we're trying to come out with a new paddle this spring. Pickleball has kind of taken a turn towards more power. Everybody wants power in their paddles. And so we're developing a new paddle that we're going to be launching this spring. And so we have probably tested 30 to 40 paddles from our manufacturer. And so I'll get these paddles and, play sessions with them and try to pick things I like, pick things I don't like. And so we've been very involved with, the design, what paddles we're launching, because they rely on us a lot. And not to sound pompous or anything, but I'm the best player in the group. And so they rely on my opinion a lot. It's like, okay, does Scott like this paddle? So it's been really fun. I never thought I would just be getting paddles delivered to my door just to keep, testing. So it's been a fun process.
It's like a great perk of the job, right?
Yeah. My garage is full of paddles.
Have you sponsored any athletes? If so, how do you pick them, and what do the deals look like?
Yeah, so we haven't sponsored any like top touring pros, just because I would say that's not necessarily our goal or our MO. We want to we're trying to appeal mainly to the beginner, intermediate, maybe slightly intermediate to advanced players. Because recently it feels like some of the top paddle companies have been shelling out a lot of cash on pro players. And so I think we see our cash is better used advertising and doing things like that, get paddles in the hands of people instead of a pro using it. Because who knows what that ROI is going to be. So we do have my playing partner that I play with a bunch here in town. He's a local teaching pro, and he and I have played in several pro qualifiers together. But he is our I guess our one signed pro that we have here. So we supply him with equipment and a monthly stipend, and then prize match any winnings that he has. So I don't know if we're going to dip our toes much more into the pro game. I guess it'll kind of depend on how our launch of our next paddle goes, because I think that is going to be the paddle that really stands up in the advanced game. So we'll see. But for now, we're just kind of sticking with the everyday pickleball player.
Yeah, I love that. And just because you guys have that advertising business side, you're able to take those same dollars, run them into ads, generate customers, which is ultimately what you want to do when you sponsor athletes. You want to get the brand out there to get customers, right? And so I love that you just kind of diverted the same dollars in a different way. That's pretty cool.
So every video you guys...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, because, if you pour dollars into an athlete that's playing on a pro pickleball stream, how many people are watching that versus how many people are scrolling through Instagram and are going to see an ad from you,
Yeah.
Like more people to be on Instagram than watching a pro pickleball stream. So that's where we've chosen to invest our dollars.
Smart.
So you guys give away a pickleball paddle every single video. What's the strategy behind it? And do you have any cool stories about your giveaways?
Trying to think of cool stories. Well, I would say the strategy behind it is, part one is just we enjoy getting paddles into people's hands, and then part two is just it creates more engagement. I can't tell you how fun it is for me every Friday when we launch a video, just scrolling through and reading the creative ways that people are commenting, the word that we tell them to comment. And so it's fun to get more engagement from the people that are watching our videos, because people I think that still comment on them, but I think it gives them an added reason to try to be creative and, say something fun and comment on the video and boost that engagement. And I think I don't understand everything about YouTube, but I know if more people are commenting on your video, that generally helps it in the algorithm. And so that's just kind of one way to boost engagement and hopefully boost the video.
Yeah, it's super smart. It gets me thinking, like, on the intro of these episodes, we should just be like, comment below, like, especially if you get them, hook them early. That's so smart. And we saw the video. We're going to get into it a little later. Like, the video that just dropped today, like, within minutes, you guys had, like, hundreds of comments, and, like, I assume YouTube's like, whoa, like, something's happening here. We need to keep showing. So, yeah, there's definitely something cool with that strategy.
I should have pulled the metrics up in front of me, but Jake, he looked up some metrics on like average number of comments for us versus other pickleball YouTube creators.
Yeah.
And he compared it to Shea Underwood, Kyle Kazuda, Zane Navratil, and I think we have like 10 times the amount of comments that these guys did, and we have a fraction of the subscribers. So that's part of the reason why. It's just and like I said, it's kind of like people I feel like are always trying to one up another person with a creative, funny comment. And so it's always just like encouraging people to engage and interact with us. And I personally read all of them. I love going through and scrolling through and reading what people are saying about the videos. So, yeah, that's sweet.
It's super smart. So we're going to jump in. Let's get into the content side, because I think this is like the part that I think excites us. He's been watching all of your stuff, showing me all the videos. Before we kind of jump in, what does your content team even look like? Like, is it literally just you guys? Do you have a real team? Like, what does that look like? Because I think that'll set the stage for what's to come.
Yeah, so Jake, he's kind of the maestro behind everything. He has a pretty heavy background in social media. He was a videographer and editor for Juggling Josh. If you guys have ever heard of him, he's a pretty big YouTuber. And then he came to Kansas City and he was a videographer, editor, writer for Trey Kennedy, who's also very popular and big on social media. And so Jake has the videography and editing background. So for the first, I think maybe 6 months or so, it was like we were using Jake's equipment. Jake was editing the short form videos. But since we got into YouTube, we've hired a videographer who lives here locally. He actually works with Jake Jake has a different podcast that he does. But he's at all of our shoots, helping us, record. And then he does a little bit of editing, but we also have a couple other editors that we rely on for the YouTube videos and then also for the short form videos. So right now, Jake, sometimes I like to call him, he's like Christopher Nolan, like the editor will send him, what his first draft, and then Jake will go back and give him notes on, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. And so he's kind of the maestro and conductor behind what the finished product is. But yeah, it's been nice. We've been able to outsource it to some other folks that we trust and seem to kind of get the idea and the flow of how we want our videos to go.
I love that. Let's jump into kind of the two different pieces. You have your short form, your long form, and I think you're going to start with some short form questions, right?
So a big part of your strategy are your skits. How do you come up with the ideas for them?
Yeah, it's I think when we, the first couple of months, we had a Google Doc just full. I mean, just chock full of ideas of, potential skits that we could write. And so it's really kind of just a collaboration between me, Jake, and Isaac. Like if one of us has an idea and just, the ideas are flowing, we'll just get on the Google Doc and, we'll be typing in ideas. And Jake's the funniest one out of all of us because he is a stand-up comedian as well. And so Jake, I think, can come up with stuff that I can't even, dream of. But me, Jake, and Isaac, we generally will try to get as much on paper before recording. But it's really just like if we observe something while we're playing pickleball, we're like, hey, that could be a video, or just kind of always trying to think of different concepts that we could shoot. And sometimes, we just show up and like one of our videos, I think our most viewed YouTube short was a collaboration with Kyle Kazuda, that pickleball guy, that we literally just came up with on the fly, just on the spot. We weren't even planning to shoot it. And we kind of just had a prompt of like, the concept was when you play good players, or when you warm up with good players. And it was just like, Jake and Isaac want to play with me and Kyle, and we say, you want to warm up? And then we just start hitting it, not even over the net. Kyle and I just hit back to each other. And then it kind of just goes from there. And that video got like, I think it's over 6 million views on YouTube Shorts, which is
You seen that one?
Crazy. Yeah, we just and we had no intentions of even filming or writing that, and it kind of just happened. So
that's crazy. I love that. And I guess that was kind of the next question there was like, how much, especially on the skits, like is scripted versus improvised? Like when you're actually going to the court to do the filming, is it like, hey, we have this idea, let's just run with it? Or do you guys kind of try to script it out at some level?
Yeah, we do try to script it out. Some of them are literally just, we'll go film and we have bullet points based on the concept and we're just reading those bullet points. Like one of us is feeding the other guy lines and we're executing the lines. And then in some cases, if there's a way for us to riff on it and make it more funny, or if like we want to do some physical comedy to incorporate into instead of just saying the line. So I would say it's a mix. It's coming prepared enough that you are able to then riff and come up with some stuff on the fly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's the process from idea to filming to posting a video?
Yeah, there's some videos that take a lot more preparation. Other ones, I mean, there's been several times where we come up with something day of, or, the day before, and we just go out the court and crank it out. And then there's other ones where we have a little more dialogue, a little more thought behind it. And that, like, one of our videos that did really well last year was, the one where Isaac misses an overhead and then I basically torture him. Like that one took a little bit more production and editing. But generally, yeah, we try to go out and film several at a time. That way we kind of have some built up to release then on future Fridays. Because if we met up every week, then that would be a little demanding for everybody else's schedule.
Definitely.
How do these types of videos impact sales and engagement?
Yeah, it's a good question. I certainly think we've helped raise a lot of awareness for the paddles, just using them in our content. And then obviously we have, linked in our bio in YouTube and Instagram. And I think we've generated because we have a link, a personalized link that people can click on and go purchase paddles, from our content. And so I think we've generated quite a bit of sales just directly from our content.
Love that. So again, on the short form, it seems like skits. We'll get to long form and the challenges. How did you settle on that as like the format? Was that just we were kind of talking before camera, like seeing like the golf space and like what they were doing and others, but like why skits versus education or different types of formats? Because it seems like, again, that's been a repeatable format that's worked really well for you guys.
Yeah, our goal starting on Instagram was, like I said, just filling that void. Like we were not like, I'm not a certified coach. Jake and Isaac sure as heck are not certified coaches. So we weren't doing any instructional content, but it was really just finding that void where like, okay, nobody else is doing this. So if we do this and do it right, it's going to be successful. And so our strategy was really just to kind of start building an audience with those skits and not jumping into YouTube right at the beginning. So that way, when we have kind of our audience built up on Instagram and they're used to our short form comedy, we can hopefully transition that to our YouTube subscribers. Because it's pretty difficult starting a YouTube channel from scratch. Like if you don't have any audience and then you're just going out there with no subscribers and trying to build a following, it can be challenging. So I think last year we started with, because we were posting some of our short form videos on YouTube Shorts, and we started with, 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. Now I think we're almost up 28,000. So hopefully that number will keep climbing, views will keep climbing, but we wanted to gain an audience first via short form and then hopefully transition them over to the long form side.
Makes sense.
Yep. So now into long form. Challenges seem to be your theme for long form content. How do you come up with ideas and bring them to life?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's kind of like you said in the golf space, it's like you see those creators doing all sorts of fun stuff on the course. I mean, ranging from, hey, we're going to eat a chicken nugget after every hole and, whatever. And so we're trying to think, what fun things can we do on a pickleball court that are entertaining to people besides instructional or just regular gameplay. So like right off the bat, some of our first long form videos were like, using anything but a paddle, using a frying pan, using a cutting board, using a DVD tape. Yeah, just trying to do, fun stuff. And then one thing that I think people really are interested in, and it's kind of a running joke between us, is like anytime you put a rating, like a pickleball rating in the title of a video, like can a 4.0 beat a 5.0?
Mm-hmm.
Like our highest viewed YouTube video was can 4.0 men beat 5.0 women? And what's funny is like we realized this is the most viewed amateur match in pickleball history on YouTube. Like nobody has watched an amateur match more than this one. Jeez. And it's just like anytime you put a rating, people want to watch and then they want to compare. Like it's funny because sometimes people in the comments are like, oh, these guys aren't 4.0s or those women aren't 5.0s and so it just draws that reaction out of people to want to watch and then compare themselves or compare the people they play with and see how they stack up versus, these guys that are supposedly 4.0s or these women that are supposedly 5.0s. So we've tried to incorporate that into a lot of our long form videos, just like intriguing matchups for people. And then other than that, I mean, we're just always trying to make different ways to play pickleball. Like we've done a couple of fun videos with some pros, like we did, me versus Connor Garnett, who's one of the top singles players, but like he had to play me and every 2 points his paddle got worse. So he started with his paddle and then it went to like a wooden paddle, my daughter's girl power paddle, and then like a frying pit. So we're just trying to make, it's just easily consumable, engaging, entertaining content and it can be a little challenging at times because it is just pickleball. You know, you're on the same court, same dimensions every single time, but it's fun to, you know, try to think outside the box of how you can make it entertaining for people.
Super interesting. We see something very similar in like the baseball content we create is anytime we say, you know, 12-year-old travel ball player versus a D1 college player, like it's the same, it's the same thing in like all sports, right? We see it like all destroying stuff, like high school wide receiver versus a college defensive back. And like, you're right. Like they want to either see themselves in their shoes or they're being, you know, oh, he's not that good. And so, but it's interesting that those really translate across all sports. So that's awesome. Love that.
People love to see how they stack up against other people, and they love to see those intriguing matchups. You know, that's by far, like when we look at, because titles and thumbnails are the most important thing that you could ever have for a YouTube video. Like we filmed some videos that like it was so fun to film. It was super, you know, it's hilarious. But it's like, if you can't nail the title and thumbnail, then people aren't going to click on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like those titles with ratings or comparisons or matchups, like are always great to get people to click on and engage with.
Makes so much sense.
How do you recruit guests for your videos, especially the pro players?
Yeah, it's generally we'll reach out to them on Instagram. Like the PPA came to Kansas City they've come here the last 2 years, but generally ahead, you know, a few weeks ahead of that, we'll try to reach out to as many pros as we can and just say, hey, you know, you want to come film with us? You know, I think I think we have enough of an audience at this point where we can say, hey, you know, you might get some new subscribers or followers, by being part of our videos. And like we shot with Connor Garnett that day that I was talking about where he and I played singles. He had never even heard of us. He doesn't spend a lot of time on social media, but I guess whoever manages his social media was like, hey, this would be good. And so he didn't even know who we were. But we actually became pretty good friends with him. And then we shot again with him in Vegas, later, I think a few months later. So, yeah, we just reach out to pros and generally they enjoy being part of the content, having fun with it. And it's something different for them to do. So, yeah, most folks have been pretty accommodating to it.
That's awesome.
You've got 8 videos on Instagram with over 1 million views. What sets those videos apart from others?
Yeah, I think the big thing on those is just relatability. Like some of those ones that come to mind is like we had one early on that was like playing pickleball with a stranger versus playing with your spouse. And that was so relatable for people because like with a stranger, you're very nice, you're very cordial. And then with your spouse, it's like, you don't treat them well. Like you're mean. Like my wife and I played pickleball and it's like, it's so hard for me not to be mean. I'm like, why? This is my wife. I should be really nice. But there's just something about that. Like, but it's relatable for people because a lot of people feel that same way. It's like, oh, I can't play with my spouse and I get too mad. Yeah, I just think some of those videos that have really popped off are just like, we've done really well with relatability and then some of the creative writing. Like we had one, how different states play pickleball. That was probably one of my favorite ones to record because I got to be a bunch of different characters in that video. And it's like folks that see that and that live in that state, like immediately are going to start sharing that with people, you know? So it's just like, if you can get something that's creative, funny and relatable like that, that's generally those are the ingredients for a video to kind of go viral.
That makes so much sense. On the opposite side, have there been any videos that maybe flopped or just you're like, man, this one's going to crush and just you're like, oh man, that one didn't work. And any lessons or things that you guys have learned from that?
Yeah, we definitely have had a few flops. I'm trying to think of a good one that we really like. There was one that we were super, super excited about and it actually still performed okay, but it definitely like flopped in our expectation. We kind of uncovered this funny thing where like if a pickleball video starts to get viral and starts to get a lot of views, you start to get a bunch of tennis people commenting on it and just dragging pickleball through the mud. And so we went out and shot some videos with Kyle Kazuda out in Arizona, and we had the idea to kind of, you know, envision this scenario of like this guy posts a pickleball video and it starts to get a lot of views. And then all of a sudden these tennis commenters come in And it was like me and Isaac, we showed up like kind of ominous at the door. And then it was just basically us just typing content or comments, just hating on pickleball. And when we filmed it, we were laughing so hard. We thought it was so funny. And then we posted it and it only got, we thought it was going to get millions and millions of views, and it got like 100,000. And like still that performed pretty well, but we were like, this video is going to crush it. And we put a lot of effort into the videography and editing and everything too. That's kind of the funny thing too about YouTube is like, you can put a lot of effort into a video, but that doesn't mean it's going to perform well. Like we've had a lot of videos that have taken a lot of editing and videography and they've not done well, but then we just post a video of gameplay, but it's an intriguing matchup and then it does really well. So sometimes we're like, guys, why don't we just stop trying to be creative and just post gameplay of us with 4-0s versus 5-0s or something, but, yeah, it's kind of, it's always a fun learning experience. Like you said, though, it's like you try to take away, okay, what did we do wrong on this thumbnail? What did we do wrong on this title? And there's even ways to kind of play with that while your video is out. You can tweak the thumbnail, you can tweak the title, see if it gets some more traction. But yeah, a lot of it is just like people have such a short attention span. You just got to have something that hooks them right off the bat or it's not going to perform well.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times we've left like the production meeting or the editor sends and you're just like, oh man, this is the one. And then it's never the one. And it's the one you're like, just put together really quick. Let's just get it out. And you're like, whoa, love that. Let's, we got one more for you, then some rapid fire and we'll let you get back to your Friday. For this last one, you won't be able to see it, but on the screen, we have the video that kind of went up today, on the screen, which is can 4-0s beat 5-0s with wooden paddles? And I'll let Colt kind of ask the question with it.
So today you posted this video. Can you break it down or like share some things about it?
Yeah, so this one, we had done this matchup like just under a year ago, and it was the same matchup. It was me and my partner TJ against Jake and Isaac. Jake and Isaac have gotten a lot better over the last year, so we kind of wanted to redo this and see how they had improved, because I think the first time we did this, we beat them 11-3, and it was, it was over pretty quick. And so for this one, Isaac is a woodworker by trade. And so he actually made the wooden paddles that day that TJ and I were using in the video. And then, so it was a similar matchup to what we had done. And then we wanted to add a little spice to it. So we made it so every 5 paddles, TJ and I would have to switch. So, after we got rid of the wooden paddles, I was using my daughter's girl power paddle. TJ was using my first Amazon paddle that I ever bought, with a falcon face on it. And then, the final paddles was one that a customer had actually returned to me in bubble paper. Like you saw it. Like I did nothing to that. That's how somebody returned a paddle to us. And I was like, this would be really fun to use in a video. So yeah, it was just kind of, we wanted to do that matchup again, see how Jake and Isaac had improved. And then, make some kind of an interesting spin on it with using some other paddles, trying to beat them and level the playing field a little bit.
Yeah,
it did. We lost.
And so that video came out as the time we're recording this 6 hours ago. You're at 3,600 views, but you're at 10% of people that have watched the video have commented. That's insane. Like 352 comments. So that's really cool. So we talked a little bit earlier about that. Talk about like adding that. Do you always do the giveaway at the beginning? Do you make them watch till the end to get like the secret? You said like a code word or something like that. So just talk a little bit about that and maybe how that increases the engagement so they can get to that part. But I mean, 10% of people that watch a video commenting is like, that's insane. And again, we're only a couple hours in, but those are pretty good metrics.
Yeah, no, it's great. Last year we did, just like people knew that if they went to the end of a video, they could figure out what word they needed to comment to, win that paddle or whatever. So this video, we kind of started something new, and I think we'll probably continue to do it throughout the year, but we basically just flash the word on the screen. I think it was like halfway video or whatever. So, we had the thought too, it's like, well, as soon as somebody comments the word, everyone else can just comment what that is behind them.
True.
But we're hopefully trying to get people to not just, fast forward to the end, figure out what the word is and then comment it. But I feel like a lot of people, there's some folks that'll just go in there and comment the word, but then there's a lot of folks that you can tell they watch the video because they will incorporate the word into their comment, but it had something else to do with what happened in the video. So it's always nice to see those type of comments like, okay, I know that you watched this and, you've commented the word.
Yeah, super smart. Well, this is kind of the last part of the show. It's really fun. Just some rapid fire questions for you. So I'll let you take it away, bud.
What's your favorite paddle design?
Oh man, I love our Ghost Challenger design. It's kind of like black and white and gray, and it's the Challenger paddle, which is our T700 raw carbon fiber paddle. And then I will say, I'll tease this, our new paddles that we're launching have some amazing designs. I'm so excited to get those out in the market.
Can't wait to see those and play with them. And which one do you got? You get the ocean, and I went with sunrise. So yeah, man, the designs, they're so fun, and everyone that's come over, since Christmas, it's only been like 2 weeks or so, but like everyone comments on them, so it's awesome. You guys do a great job.
Yeah, I'll have to send you guys some more.
We'd love it.
What's your best selling paddle?
I think it's actually the blue sky one that you have in your hand. It's either blue sky or lavender haze, which is it's kind of like a pinkish purple one. Those have been the top selling paddles. And then the one that I mentioned, the Ghost Challenger one, that one sold. We launched it, I think in October, and it sold out twice. It sold really, really well.
What's the coolest courts you've ever played on?
Oh man, we stayed at this Airbnb in Palm Springs. We made some videos on it. I don't know if you guys watched that, but that house was insane. And just the fact that it had like a beautiful it wasn't like the pickleball court was an afterthought. Like it was an actual court, had a really nice net. And that was probably my favorite court, just because Palm Springs was beautiful. You got mountains in the background, and that was probably my favorite place I've ever played.
That's awesome.
Would you rather play indoor or outdoor?
That's tough. I would say indoor, just because it's one less thing. You don't have to worry about any weather. You don't have to worry about any winds, but also I love being outside. So I guess if everything is neutral, like it's 70 degrees outside, no wind, 10 out of 10 times I would rather play outside, but I guess in general, I'll say indoor.
Who's the coolest person or place you've seen use your paddles?
Brock Purdy has a Friday.
Whoa.
The quarterback 49ers. Yeah. It's kind of a random connection, but Jake's wife played volleyball with Brock Purdy's wife. And so they got them some Friday paddles as wedding presents. So I don't know if it was on Brock's Instagram or his wife's Instagram, but they posted some family trip, and they were all playing pickleball, and they had Friday paddles in their hands.
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever been What's the best advice you've ever been given about going to the business?
Oh man. I think it's really just kind of like not getting down if like learning from mistakes or learning from bad days or learning from bad videos. Like don't get down about it. Like just get back up and try again. Like you said, we talked about if you have a video that doesn't perform well, or we have a bad sales week or bad sales month, like it's not the end of the world. Like just learn from it and do something else.
It's always something to learn. I love that. Let's close out with this. Anything fun you guys are looking forward to in 2025? Obviously, you've talked about kind of these new paddles coming out. Anything fun with content, fun events, just anything that's got you excited for the new year?
Yeah, I think for sure the new paddle launch I'm really excited about. We finally dialed in this paddle, and I've been playing with it for the last few days, and I love it. And I think we're going to be providing a really top tier paddle for a super affordable price. And I'm really excited about how it'll do. I think content wise, we last year we got to travel a little bit to some tournaments, and a lot of those videos did really well. They performed really well. Jake is he's the one that has edited the tournament vlog style videos, and he does a really good job storytelling. And so I think this year, we're going to try to get to maybe 3 or 4 tournaments and try to record some fun stuff at tournaments. And those are always just fun too, because like, I certainly don't feel like any sort of celebrity in my day-to-day life. So when we go to pickleball tournaments, like we get recognized a decent amount. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like, wow. All of a sudden people know who I am. So it's always fun to go to tournaments and see people with Friday paddles or talk to people and say that, anytime somebody comes up to us and is like, hey, love your content, love watching your videos. It means so much. It's so fun.
Man, I love that. Where anywhere we can point people, obviously Friday Pickleball on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, all the places. Anywhere else we can point people to check out your stuff?
No, yeah, you said it. Friday Pickleball. I think on Instagram it's Friday with 2 Y's, is that's how you find our content page. But everywhere else it's just Friday Pickleball, and then the website for the paddles is fridaypickle.com. So yeah, if anybody watches this and purchases some Friday paddles, shoot us an email at hello@fridaypickle.com and I'll send you something free. Send you some paddle covers or give you a little refund or something like that. Just a little kickback for watching the show.
How cool is that? Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. It's time for us to go play some pickle outside.